What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome. Give it a couple minutes for people to hop on here, and then I'll start answering questions. Hello. Everyone's on mute by default, so you'll have to kind of manually unmute yourself if you want to chat or say hi.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lori. How are you?
Oh, pretty great.
Oh, pretty great. Are you working on cookies?
All done.
Nice. So like done for Christmas?
Yeah, well, I didn't think that anything was going to happen actually, Lisa. Because it's only been 2 months since I started, and then I just put a thing up on Facebook, and it was 251 cookies later that I sold.
Holy shit!
I know. So
Congrats.
it was, yeah. But I'm the one. Corey Ann lives just down the street from me.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how things can just happen?
Well, yeah, because she said to me, I said to her, like, nobody's doing classes or anything like that here because of COVID, right?
Yeah.
And she said, then she messaged me and she said, oh my gosh, Lisa's doing this course and you got to do it, Lori. So I was, so.
Perfect. Yeah, she told me actually that somebody very local to her wanted to take it. And I'm like, send her. And if she has questions, there's a whole group. We have Q&A, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, right. So we're just shoveling snow today, a lot of it.
Oh my God, yeah, I'm in California. It's cold for me, but it's not snowing or anything like that, so we don't have to do any of that. And COVID's out of control here right now, so.
Yeah, well, my best friend lives in Louisiana.
Okay.
And so when she just loves to come here because she can't stand the heat, right? And loves the cold, but she can't get here either. So
yeah, we're stuck.
I know.
All right, who else do we got? We've got Anna, Cindy, D. Garcia. Hi guys. So everybody's muted. You're gonna have to unmute yourself if you want to jump in, chat, super casual. Not a lot of people are going to join today because it is like right before Christmas. So this is going to be super, one-on-one-ish almost.
And I have a.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, sorry, I just dropped my phone. But hi.
Hi, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
All right, I think I am about to get started. So this is being recorded right now, and I'm going to throw it up on YouTube for anyone who wants to check out the Q&A. And then I have a list of questions here. But before I start, I don't know if you guys want to introduce yourself, say hi to everybody. Hi, I'm Lisa. Merry Christmas. Lori, did you want to introduce yourself real quick to everyone else here?
Yeah, I'm Lori and I'm from Calgary, Canada.
Cooking for 2 months, and she worked on like 250 orders or something like that. 250 cookies for Christmas, so incredible. All right, let's see. Letting a few other people in. Anyone else want to say hi? No obligation. You can just sit and listen. Otherwise, just jump in.
I can say hi. I'm Anna.
Hi, Anna.
I have not been doing this that long. I took some of Randy's cookie classes.
Randy from Rancho Cordova. Randy's
Randy Ray Cookie Co.
Okay.
And fell in love with it, and have been loving this class. The crazy thing I did was I made advent calendars with mini cookies for all 8 of my nieces and nephews. This is insanity.
You can do it again next year.
But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's me. And I'm in Davis, just outside of Sacramento.
Yeah, I went to school at UC Davis, so very familiar.
Yeah, it's a nice area.
It's super nice. Hey, Shannon. Welcome. Yeah, I put her on the spot.
Hi.
So guys, Shannon actually works with us at Borderlands Bakery. She packs some of your packages and helps out with their here and there wherever she can. So Shannon, thanks Shannon.
Welcome. Can I eat my dinner now?
Let's see who else is on here. All right, anyone else want to jump in, say hi, introduce themselves real quick? Oh, is that Rocket? Hi Rocket.
Hi, this is Cindy.
Hi Cindy, welcome.
Thank you. I'm originally from Redondo Beach, California, but I'm presently in Easton, Pennsylvania, and I love your class. So thank you so much.
Happy. Thank you. How long have you been cooking?
So far I've been I was inspired by a woman from Summit Bakery in Atlanta, Georgia, and she did a pandemic platter. So lately I've been doing little toilet papers, little festive toilet paper rolls, and little Santa Clauses with masks on them and stuff. So I'm giving them all to friends and family right now, but I'm looking forward to, the future where I can make a profit.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people are kind of getting into it and realizing that, hey, even though I'm doing something I like, it'd be nice to pull in a little bit of extra money on the side. So, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for all of this. I appreciate it.
So welcome. So happy to be here.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to jump in, introduce themselves, say hi? Going once? Going twice? Okay. If not, I'm going to jump in to the questions that people left on the Facebook chat thingy and a couple of other questions that I've compiled for people that weren't able to make it. I'm going to quickly go through those. This is very casual, very conversational. So if you have any questions, just jump in. All right. Everybody is muted by default. So if you want to speak up, definitely unmute your mic. And we're going to get started. I'm just going to go down the list that I have. And all right, let's go. So first thing is there's a couple of people who have mentioned that their icing was kind of sticking to the bags, and it looks like there was some kind of moisture. So when they heat seal the cookie, there would be something, and the bag would be sticking a little bit. It looked like the surface of some parts of the cookie was a little wet. Just wanted to quickly go over a couple of things that might be causing that. Dough has moisture in it. Icing, if it's not dried long enough, still has moisture in it. That moisture can permeate through your icing, causing a little bit of icing to kind of get wet, almost re-wet. Even if your icing has dried completely, but you have a really wet or undercooked dough, it can result in that. So you want to make sure your dough is pretty much cooked all the way through. A little bit of an underbake is okay. Some people like it really underbaked, where it almost starts to cave in the middle. That's where we start to see problems with both butter bleed as well as moisture of the icing sticking to the bag. Other ways to prevent that is, once your cookie is totally dry, take a brush and gently dust the surface of your cookie with cornstarch, and that'll absorb any of the excess moisture, and it won't leave any weird residue or anything behind, as long as you don't dump it into cornstarch. So that really, really helps. One of the other things that came up, I'm just referencing my list of questions here. Okay. Ooh, okay, we got more people. Okay. A lot of people asked about timeline of cookie decorating. And I think the timeline is really, really hard for me to tell you exactly what to do, because every single person has a different schedule. Like, some people have kids, some people don't have kids, some people can only decorate at night. Some people can only decorate maybe an hour a day. Some people only have a couple of days in the week that they can decorate. So based on that, you have to be a little bit flexible with your schedule. But two things that can really help you is pre-prep all of your stuff as much as possible. So that applies for packaging as well as for your dough and icing. So you can make your dough, freeze your dough, and have dough all the time ready for you whenever you want it. And you can do the same thing with icing. So your base icing, make it, freeze it, defrost it the day that you know you'll be decorating. And if you're going to be freezing your dough, The way I like to do it is I have the raw dough prepped, frozen, and when I need it, I pull it out a couple hours before I need it, put it into the fridge, let it kind of come down and defrost a little bit. I like to decorate, dry and heat seal within a 24-hour window. So I will bake it, Monday morning. I'm going to bake them, decorate them. I'll probably finish decorating them by that evening. And then I'll let it dry from that night to Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, I heat seal all of them. So I like to do it within 24 hours. I feel like that works the best for me. I got no human babies or anything like that. So I always plan to give myself that time. However, Shannon, I'm going to pick on you for a second because Shannon's situation, I think, is more similar to what other people have encountered, have here with children and with a schedule that's kind of really crazy. So talk to me a little bit about your decorating schedule and when you start and when you finish something.
So it used to take me a week.
So how do you store the cookies in between? That's the other thing, right?
Okay. So like Lisa, I make my dough. I don't freeze it because I haven't mastered the freezing to baking without it getting weird. Does that make sense?
How weird? Tell me.
It was kind of looked like doughy. Maybe I just underbaked it and then I never tried it again.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's what. So usually, say I have an order for pickup on a Friday. Now I've gotten faster. I will make my dough Wednesday, have it in the fridge overnight. I will also try and make my icing on Wednesday after I've made my dough. So I have my white icing made. If I know my colors, I will start mixing those. Unlike Lisa, I use little Tupperwares and then I'll just keep them in the Tupperwares to make sure I have enough. Nothing scientific for me. I don't weigh out my icing. I just eyeball it. I like bold colors, so I use a lot of pigment. So say I do that Wednesday, then Thursday morning, I will start decorating, let them dry or bake. I will bake Thursday morning, get my base icing on, and I will let them be in the dehydrator for about 15 minutes for me. I have a really thick dough, so I can keep it in there a little bit longer while keeping my moisture. And then I'll usually finish that night. And then I have a baker rack and I have the lids for them. My trick is I just stack them on the lids and then I have the really long baking sheets and I just stack them on the baking sheet because the lids won't fit on the rack. And then Friday, I will heat seal and put them in the box.
So less than two days, actually. 2 days.
About 48 hours.
2 full days, yeah. And I know people who actually do like a whole week's worth of planning, decorating, everything like that. So they prep where Sunday is their dough and icing day. Monday is their bake every single cookie. And these are people who are pumping out hundreds and hundreds of cookies every week. And then Tuesday, they do layer 1. Wednesday, they do layer 2 and details. Thursday, they do packaging. And Friday is people pick up. So it really, really depends on what you're working on, what your design is, and how fast you can move, what your schedule looks like. And I think that's the hardest part to explain to people when they ask, what is your timeline or what is your schedule? And if anybody else has anything that they want to share about their timeline, now's a great time to hop on in. Like Lori, you've just started in your 2 months of decorating. Have you been able to find little things here and there where it's sped you up or you've done things slightly differently? Tell me a little bit about your experience.
Well, again, I don't have little ones, grandchildren, but that's it. And because I'm so new, I'm a baker anyway, but I just love it so much. I've let things go that, I have a full-time job and I've kind of let things go with my full-time job as a designer and because I want a cookie, but my fear is if you have this person that's taken a week, from, like you said, Sunday to Friday, and those cookies are out, are they not going to be as fresh? I wonder.
Well, I mean, they're sugar cookies. They never go bad. They can't kill you. They're just not going to
Right.
be at the same texture, especially if you live in a dry climate.
Okay.
Unless if you like your cookies crispy, there's nothing wrong with crispy cookies.
Okay, because we have like zero humidity here. Zero.
Yes. And they can dry out. And if you notice, actually, there's a couple of interesting things. So if you turn the heater on or it's really windy, that really messes with your dough, actually. So it messes with your dough. It'll dry it out faster. In the winter, I always notice, no matter what, my icing gets shiny without the use of a dehydrator because of just the natural airflow. And I've got the
Okay.
heater going in your house, right? You've got more just
Yeah.
air coming in, going out. And I noticed that my cookies dry out faster in the winter as well, interestingly enough.
Right. So I think that, for me, I mean, I usually do like 2 rounds of dough and then,
Like back to back on the same day.
yes,
Okay.
yeah, then bake and then just wait until they're done and kind of go from there, right?
Yeah. For me, actually, I like to work with 4 dozen max at a time. I usually do not prefer, even when I was at like my height of my cookie decorating, when I was doing up to 6 dozen a day, I would try to finish all of that before I moved on to anything else because I like to finish things end to end and just have that heat seal done within that 24-hour window to keep them super, super soft. But I have a friend, Tiny Kitchen Treats. She's in New York. She owns a bakery. She bakes actually more like of a crispy sugar cookie. It's absolutely delicious. When you do a crispier base, you have a little more leeway with the time that you have to work with your different layers of your royal icing. So it's really, it's pretty subjective. And people who work on it throughout the week, Shannon mentioned lids on trays, right? A lot of people allow their first layer to kind of dry. They put the lid on so it doesn't dry out, put it on their bun rack, and then work on it the next day. And that kind of minimizes your dry. Anna, did you have any input here? You're muted. Here we go.
Thank you.
We're good.
I haven't really, my one experience was just absolute chaos.
Okay.
And like I said, like never again, because it was I had ordered the cookie cutters late because I decided I was going to do it like a week or two before Thanksgiving. And then obviously they need to be there by December 1st. So like I got the cookies, I think the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And so then I needed to get them done by Thursday. So like I had pre-made all my dough,
Yeah.
but that's all I could do.
Yeah.
Never again. That's all, like I say that, but next year I'm probably gonna end up making them again because like I got all these pictures of my adorable nieces and nephews holding cookies. So, but I think for me it's just like that, figuring out what's actually gonna work and being frustrated because I know like you can't tell me, you're like no other cookier can tell me what is actually gonna work for my schedule for like a good game plan of how to continue on and get like a good flow going and not drying out my cookies, because I've definitely noticed too in Davis my cookies just they started getting dry even with like I think the most they were out were like 3 days,
Yeah.
and like sealed in between and all that kind of stuff, but they were definitely like those cookies were definitely getting dried out. And so like I wish I had more time, but I think I need to get it down within like 48 hours or less to keep the cookies
how many
good.
cookies do you work on in one go in that kind of period?
For those ones I was doing like 3 or 4 dozen a day.
Okay.
5.
That's significant. That's
It was huge, and like they're the
significant,
mini
yeah.
cookies,
Okay.
which like kind of made it easier and kind of made it harder to like figure out what I didn't like. I game planned the designs and like the colors and the consistencies, but I didn't game plan like my order as far as like, okay, I need to get this layer down so I can go back and let that dry. So there was a few cookies that like I was waiting on in the very end because I didn't get my layers done in time to let them dry while I was doing other things.
Yeah, I'm thinking what you're telling me right now, I'm just thinking about like the whole planning aspect of doing cookies. Some people like to kind of just wing it, and any kind of pre-planning or pre-organization, Shannon's raising her hand. Pre-planning and pre-organization kind of adds a level of stress instead of just like letting you go and have fun. But if you are struggling with the time management part, you might actually benefit from writing down your designs, your layers, and your game plan in that way to kind of just see your timeline even.
Yeah, I think
Try
I
it
need to
out.
get better at that because I kind of did like you did in like in
Mhm.
the coursework of like very rough sketches and like figured out what colors I needed,
Mhm.
and I figured out like how many of each colors because like I was really trying to figure out how much icing
Mhm.
ish, which I had like not enough and too much of all kinds of colors, which we'll get there eventually.
You'll get there. Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, it was a little confusing just to figure out, but I think I just need to, my type A personality of like planning needs to just like come out more and let myself like, nope, I'm just going to figure out what I'm doing so that I'm not struggling in my deadline so much.
Yeah, especially if you know you have a deadline, I think is a stress. If you're baking just for fun and you're baking just like for joy, no problem, right? It's really when you have that timeline and deadline. I also highly encourage everybody to fully finish their cookies, heat seal them, and throw them in the freezer. Freezer is like the great equalizer, and it just allows that moisture to permeate throughout your entire cookie and just makes it the same texture throughout. A lot of people really enjoy frozen cookies. They don't know it's been frozen. They're like, oh my God, it's so soft and tastes so fresh. Freezers are magical. So use the freezer. Um, yeah, use the freezer. That might actually help. So you're not getting right up to that due date and freaking out.
Do you have any tips? I think I actually posted this, so it might be on your list of questions,
Mhm.
but for like, I would like to try to do pre-sales. I
Mhm.
didn't do them for Christmas because we're actually traveling, but
Okay.
like how do you recommend like figuring out how many designs to do so that
Yeah.
it's like manageable with like but still giving people options?
Yeah, so I think for us, we kind of like to go crazy because every time we see a cute thing, we want to cookify it, and then now you've just have an unmanageable amount of designs. So what I like to tell people, especially if they want to do pre-sales for Christmas, is decide, kind of figure out, figure out how much time you have first to dedicate to cookies. And then a good rule of thumb is to have about 3 to 5 options of either sets or singles to have people choose from. And it kind of goes like this. So it depends on the holiday. I feel like depending on the holiday, people gravitate towards different types of sets or singles. So Christmas, ton of singles because people are buying stocking stuffers, right? So they're seeing little things here, or they're going to buy a cookie and also include a gift card. So singles sell really, really well during Christmas. Singles also sell incredibly well during Valentine's Day because people are getting little Valentines for people. And then when we start looking at like St. Patty's or anything like that, I don't feel like for me, singles have sold that well. People are looking for more like, I'm going to a St. Patty's party and I just want to bring some cookies. And for St. Patty's, it's usually like treats. So it's not necessarily a full dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen of decorated cookies. It becomes like a cookie platter of a variety of treats and 3 to 5 options. So what I mean by that is you can have like 2 singles options and you can decide whether you want these singles to be like, a generic snow globe or a generic tree, or you can kind of go a little bit more personalized and do like a custom stocking with somebody's name on them or something like that. A place card cookie, an ornament cookie with somebody's name on them. People freaking love custom options, but keep in mind that's more work and you have to find a way to accommodate and charge for that appropriately. So singles, 2 max, really, to not overwhelm yourself. And then the rest of the options can be sets, and sets can kind of range from like even just 2 cookies, right? In the ebook, I kind of gave you a couple of different packaging options, and I really like the 2 cookies, or the same 4x6 box can also do 6 minis. I like doing minis. Some people hate doing minis, so it just kind of depends if you love to do them, and always offer options that you want to do. Not because you think it'll sell, unless if you really, really are doing it purely for money, which is totally cool. A lot of bakeries, you know, they have to do that. But if you're doing it like this is from your home, this is also for joy, do designs you want to do that are easily kind of, you know, you can kind of assembly line them and kind of bang them out. I like to keep designs that are under 10 minutes to finish. So like 1 cookie under 10 minutes. Otherwise, it's like, even if you charge $5, you have to package them, you have to label them, you have to heat seal and put it in a box. You know, it's a lot of work. But most people that I know do 5-minute cookies, 5-minute design cookies. And they charge, you know, $5 to $6 a cookie. And that way they are able to make at least minimum wage. And with Valentine's Day, people love mini strips. So it's like 3 to 4 minis kind of in a long strip, maybe put a cute topper on there or something, or a cute tag. Freaking love that. So that could be one of your options. But I would say 5 options max for decorated cookies, and then try to throw some other treats in there if you're able to, for people who just don't care so much for the decorated cookies. Is that helpful? Or is there something else specifically that you're thinking
No,
about?
that's very helpful.
Okay.
Because like I see, like for me at least, like I see on Instagram, there's just so much variety, and like different bakers do so much different things. And so it's like, starting out, I was like, okay, do I, 3 to 5 is very, very helpful. Like, okay, I can do 3 to 5 different designs, versus like I see some people who have like 6, 7, 8 designs, and like that feels overwhelming.
When we did like Christmas pop-ups, so I got really, really serious with pop-ups in like 2017. I'd go out in the neighborhood park, I do pop-ups. I go to every single mom and pop shop possible and do pop-ups. And I actually don't know how I survived 2016 and 2017, because I literally was up till 3 a.m. every single day. I worked full time. I was up by 6 because I worked with people in Europe, so I was on a conference call, and I offered 32 options one year. So that included macarons, that included decorated cookies, minis, larges, anything from singles. I had like 10 single options, and then I had like 2 half-dozen options all laid out. And I was just like, not 23 anymore. I can't do this. So for most people, I highly don't recommend you do that. So 3 to 5, keep it simple, and do the designs you love. I can't stress that enough. Minimize the layers. That's the other thing, we have designs that can go crazy. We get so crazy with cookies. Everyone's trying to one up each other and do like the most beautiful cookies possible. But if you're selling to people or you're making them for your friends and family, they're not going to judge you by how many layers you have, what techniques you're using, how clean this is, right? So there's a question from D. Garcia. What's the average freezer time before they start to not taste good, or it's a good time frame? So this is highly recipe dependent, and I feel like my lemon vanilla bean that I offer on the website, if you bake it at a soft bake, it literally lasts forever. I have eaten a cookie that's a year old and it's okay. Got some freezer burn, but it's okay. For the recipe that's a part of the course, I've eaten them. I've eaten them at 4 months. It's fine. Just gotta make sure everything's airtight. My husband has eaten one that I have literally left out on the counter 3 months. It was really hard, but it was fine. Nobody's sick. So I think you need to play with it, but 3 months, I think easy. Does anyone else freeze here? Shannon, have you done any freezing? No, okay. Laurie? Yeah. 3 months. But honestly, Very few cookies will survive that 3-month freezing period unless if someone got married and they're like, I'm freezing cookie and eating it next year. And I'm like, sure, you do that. All right, let's see what else. Okay, so the pre-sale question. Okay, so kind of related to the pre-sale, someone's asking what the best sizes for cookies for markets. So like individual sets, paint your own sets, etc. This is really hard to answer because I think it depends on where you live. I think based on that, people have different preferences. It depends on the holiday, on the event, on when you're doing it, what you're known for, what you're good at, and what you like to do. So taking all of that into account, it's all over the place. I know people who literally only do singles and they do great. I know people who only sell by the 2 dozen and they do great. I think it's about leaning into what you want to focus on and you deciding this is what I'm going to do, and then you put it out there. And then the people who want that, those are your clients. So there's no kind of bending over backwards to fit your client. I think it's more about doing the things you want to do and finding the clients that want that. If you're looking for money makers only, kind of go back to pre-sales and stuff. Christmas, paint your owns, a hit. Actually, I'm gonna take that back and say paint your owns are a hit every holiday. People freaking love paint your owns. I've noticed that in my area, we're in the Sacramento area, anytime I have minis, whether that's in a box of 12, a box of 6, or a strip of 3, sold out every single time. I've never had an issue selling minis, ever. Less people in my area for the holidays for pre-sale specifically, not customs, but if I was going to do a pop-up or a pre-sale, I feel like less people buy 1 to 2 full dozen decorated cookies. People love cookie crates, especially for the holiday season. So cookie crates are basically boxes that contain a variety of treats, not just decorated cookies, but like Rice Krispies, like Cocoa Bombs. Cocoa Bombs like exploded this year. Put some turtles in there and find treats that don't take a long time to make, like drop cookies, chocolate chip cookies. People freaking love them. Cookie crates sell like crazy during the holidays. And then Valentine's Day, again, singles. Yes.
So Lisa, how would you charge then for a cookie crate?
I charge based on how much time I spend on it. So you do the math on the ingredients and the time, and then decide how much you want to pay yourself, and then backwards figure out the price of cookie crate. But in addition to that, I think you would also kind of just want to be like, what kind of value do I put on this? Maybe, you pay yourself $12 an hour, but the market can hold $15 an hour, right? So you can give yourself a little bit of extra, or you package it extra nice. All those things can add value. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, dehydrator. All right, someone asked a question about a dehydrator. They put their cookies in a dehydrator for 30 minutes. It has cracks in it. Usually that's due to movement. So either the cookie has settled post-bake and it's moved a little bit and settled, like your house. When it settles, it cracks, right? Same thing is happening. Your icing, if it moves as it's drying, it can crack. That's the most common thing that I've seen happen. Otherwise, when people move their icing back and forth and it's still warm straight out of the dehydrator, has barely crusted over, it's going to crack, guaranteed. Just don't touch it. That's kind of what I tell people. You put stuff in the dehydrator, you don't touch it. The second you start moving trays and putting them in and out, moving cookies back and forth, you risk that icing layer cracking. All right.
That was me that asked that question.
Hey.
Hello. So when I put them in the dehydrator and I leave it in there for say 30 minutes, you're saying not to take it out at all, just leave it alone?
Don't touch it.
Okay.
Yeah. The second you start moving them and your icing hasn't fully dried all the way and it's just a thin layer, it's going to cause movement and it's going to cause those cracks.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, what else you guys got for me? We're already half an hour in. That was so fast. Don't let me ramble. All right, who else is on here? Come on, friend.
I have another question. You kind of were talking about it earlier, but sorry, I'm trying to like figure out the words again. When I've done like painting with like the gold or whatever and Everclear mixed, and it ends up like sticking to the bag.
Yeah.
Can you use cornstarch for that as well, or would it dull the like shimmery?
Okay, so metallics are a bit interesting because what essentially happens is you mix like your alcohol with your powder, and then the alcohol evaporates, leaving the powder behind. If your ratio is such that it's too thick and you're leaving a lot of product, so your what are you using, for example?
The
sugar art,
like the sugar art gold, wedding gold, or
wedding gold. Okay, yeah. So if it's quite thick, all the excess is basically going to just dry and flake off, and it's going to rub off. I've noticed that almost all the metallic paints rub off at least a little bit. You don't want to cornstarch it because it's going to just get rid of all that metallic. So unless if it's a huge problem, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah. Is it a big problem? Like, is it all over?
It was for the cookies I did, but this was part of the gigantic advent calendar, and so some of them might not have dried all the way, or also I don't think the consistency was perfect when I was putting it on. I think sometimes it was too thin and sometimes it was too thick, so I think it probably was just, out of a lot of them, I think it was probably too thick.
I think one of the best tips I can give on the sugar art stuff, especially their sterling pearls, is do 2 layers and kind of err on the side of slightly thinner. So do 1 layer first, let it dry for like 15 minutes and go over it again. It'll give a more vibrant color or metallic without all that extra stuff drying and flaking off. But what you can also do is, if you notice that you painted and it's very obvious that there's just too much product on there, once it's dried, use a very dry brush and just brush the excess off before you bag it. Yeah, that can help you. Yes, Lori.
Lisa, I've got these. I don't know if I can show you this.
Yes, very familiar. Sweet sticks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got these and I didn't have any problem at all with now, I mixed it really, really well, and they're just little ones, but yeah, with the metallics. I got all kinds of colors and didn't have an issue.
So those are pre-mixed, right? They're pre-mixed. They are fabulous. It is what you get. The stuff does settle at the bottom. You just give it a good shake or give it a good stir, and it's great. I think it's a great product. I think a lot of people find it bitter is the only complaint.
Okay.
I think it's a fabulous product, and it looks freaking amazing on cakes, buttercreams. You've painted everywhere. It's incredible. So Anna, if you're interested, I think the Cookie Countess stocks Sweet Sticks AU.
What is it called?
Sweet Sticks AU. Here, I'm gonna type it here.
Okay.
Sweet Sticks AU. Let me actually grab you a link real quick, and I'll throw it into the chat. The Cookie Countess. Yeah, because I think fantastic product. Sweet Sticks. And they actually have water activated palettes as well, which are super cool. Okay. Okay, I'm going to send you like my search query so you can kind of see all of them. Yeah, Cookie Countess. I think she just ran a sale. She'll probably have another New Year's one, so keep your eye out. Does Corianne stock Sweet Sticks, Lori? I can't remember off the top of my head.
No, she doesn't. These ones I got off of, it was called the Flower Connection, I believe.
Okay. The Flower Box? Or Flower Connection?
No, I think it's Flower Connection. I'm going to have to look. That's where I get my vanilla bean paste. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, try that out, Anna, if you're finding that you just don't love all the sugar art stuff.
I think I just need to a lot of it is I need to practice, and then it's just kind of what I have right now. And so when I
And
restock.
honestly, I would just finish using whatever you've got before you keep buying, because it's so endless with all the stuff you could buy.
There's so much.
I know, it's like crazy.
Cooking is like, it's kind of like mean like that, because you get into it and you're like, you don't need anything. Like, I have sugar, I have flour, all I need is a rolling pin. And then
Ziploc bags,
a week later, you're like, oh, but look at all these things I could buy. And then you're like, no. Wait.
One of the requests that I got from people was, they were like, can you do a class on how you would go about you have a very basic set of cookie cutters and how you can do different designs for every like holiday or season with just hearts, circles, hexagons, squares, rectangles. So while I'm thinking about it, it's less fun, right? Because you want to buy all the fun shapes and stuff.
You really do.
Yeah, but it's possible. All right, what else? Ooh, we have a couple more people joining. I accidentally
It's
left.
probably just me. I'm switching to my computer instead of my
Oh, there you
phone.
go.
My
Okay.
hand's getting tired.
There you go. All right. What else you got for me, you guys? What other questions, comments, feedback?
I have another question, Lisa. I'm just trying to figure out more of the packaging. And I think I've got actually the boxes down. And just thinking now, like, so I checked into our local, we just live out, kind of outside of a big city, and our town, I don't need to have a license. I don't need to have any of that. So that was really thrilling. And, but like, so are you putting stickers on? Are you, sealing that, like that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I have any laid out. I'm going to look through. So from like a basics perspective, if I were to list some of the basic things you want for, it's almost branding, right? It's not just the box and whatever,
Right.
but branding. Okay, so for me, stickers are a must-have, absolutely. And I like to do like logo stickers and just keep them simple, round, square, rectangle, some kind of a standard shape, so you're not paying the label maker extra for die cut shapes or something like that. Round stickers all the time, carry them with you. That's like my business card. I don't even have business cards anymore because I just have stickers. That can be stuck on like everything.
Oh, genius.
Yeah.
So on that sticker, then you have Borderlands Bakery. Do you have any other information?
Borderlands Bakery. So hold on, I'm gonna Borderlands Bakery. Oh, sorry, I want to see what I've got. So it's only my logo, my website, and my Instagram handle. That's it, because that's all they need to find you on the internet, right?
Okay.
So that's basic must have. The second thing that, so if you run like a cottage food business, and even if you don't, like you're just doing this and you want to make sure, those are postcards. That's cheating, Shannon. Shannon's like showing people my postcard. She's on mute, so we can't hear her yell at me, but she's yelling at me. So stickers with your information and contact, absolute bare minimum. A second one is your ingredients labels. So I have these like ingredient label stickers, and just do so it just depends on where you are and what the requirements are from a regulatory perspective. And if you're not legal,
Right.
I don't care. Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody should be ratting you out. Everybody starts somewhere. But do it just to be safe, because you never know if someone's allergic or sensitive or something like that. So I always have ingredients.
Yeah, which brings me to another, I had bought, I think it was like you were saying earlier, the lemon recipe.
Lemon vanilla, yeah.
Right, okay. And it has the glycerin.
Yep.
Is that I'm
glycerin,
saying that right? Okay.
Glycerin, vegetable glycerin.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyways, I went out, I didn't even know what it was. And I went out and bought it. And then when I got home, I realized that it said may contain shellfish, may contain it may maybe made not in a peanut free like. So do you know of a glycerin that's not that's
yes, there are quite a
because
few brands on Amazon that are really processed in well regulated facilities that are
okay.
not peanut whatever. You just have to look for different brands, and you have to make sure it's food grade.
Okay.
Very important. Otherwise, you're eating stuff for soap, which is not fun. And it's not going to kill you. You're just going to have like diarrhea or something, which is not fun for anybody.
Right. Yeah. I think I just picked up this bottle from Michael's, and then I thought, oh my gosh, you know, I've got one with that's allergic to peanuts and one that's allergic to shellfish. So I just took it back. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And the glycerin in that recipe, if you're in a pinch, just omit the glycerin and add the extra honey to kind of substitute for the glycerin.
Great.
Yeah. Glycerin's all about shelf life and texture. So you put glycerin in something, it's going to stay soft for a really, really long time. That cookie has a shelf life of, it's unbelievable how long it stays soft.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, Shannon, are you using glycerin in your base? No,
Yeah.
She's nodding yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm. Lasts forever, right?
Yeah. Amazon. And I know
Amazon,
in Canada you can get it on Amazon too, I think.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it, Shannon. It's just to just to find the ingredients on it and make sure it's great. Thank you.
Yep. All right, let's see what else. So okay, those two things. So your stickers for your contact information. And if anyone needs like logo stuff, have you guys heard of a website called Fiverr? Fiverr. Fiverr. I will link it in the chat. Basically, it's like Etsy-ish, but these are all a lot of them are digital artists. A lot of them do logos for like under $100, or they will design your freaking sticker for you. You just tell them what you want and they do it for you. It's absolutely fantastic. And if you know you want to be taking that step and getting marketing material, I guess branding material, that's a great resource. And then other things that are branding that are kind of nice to have. I was thinking, so I like to seal. I like to seal my cookies. So I have these stickers here. Basically, I put it over my box and I fold it in half so it acts like a seal on the box. It's a extra little nice step, but people like that presentation. You eat with your eyes, wow, that good stuff. So yeah.
They've got some, I was looking on Amazon too, and they've got like a huge variety of like, thank you, for supporting small business and that kind of stuff. Stickers there that are just, that could go with your logo on the front of your box or whatever, so for very reasonable. Yeah.
So that all this stuff is so easy to access now and to get done for you. People usually are pretty quick with the turnaround too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what else, friends? What else you got for me?
I have a personal question.
Yes.
I mean, not really personal, Lisa, but
I'm an open book.
Okay, that's like me too. You know what? No, I was just going to ask about the Borderlands. How did you come up with your name?
This is super boring and super lame, but I live on a street called Borderlands Drive. So like, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that's exactly what I did. Mine's part of my street. So yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like,
Cool.
I don't want my name to be a part of it. I don't want to be people imagining my face or something. I just want it to be about my business and my brand.
For sure.
Yep. I do have to say, Lisa, I laughed the first time I didn't order pickup and I realized that it was Borderlands. So I was like, oh,
yeah. Oh my God. I had someone from Florida. So they came last year. They wanted to pick something up. And they like took a picture of my tree and they're like, oh my God, I get it. And I'm like, yeah, super lame, not creative at all. So yeah, I know a lot of my friends who named their businesses after their kids. So that's also super, super common. Yeah. All right. What else? You guys
I have
have to
another
have
question. We
more
kind of
questions.
talked about it in the last Q&A, but I don't remember what was said. As far as investing in supplies, like I know, like for me personally, I'm kind of at the point of like, do I get a projector? Do I get a dehydrator?
Okay.
Like those are kind of the next two like big purchases that are on the horizon. Do you have recommendations as far as like A, when to start getting bigger purchased items, and B, order of
Okay, I do. I
application?
have some thoughts, and this kind of depends on which direction you want to go. I think a dehydrator is really helpful if you're going to be pumping out more cookies, because you can move through layers so much faster with a dehydrator. But if you want to really step up your skills and start doing like detailed work and improving your cookie decorating that way, do the route of the projector. So for me, before I did big volume, I did skill development, right? So I bought all the things that allowed me to improve my skills first before I bought things that allowed me to scale. So that's kind of how I think about it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That puts it in context.
Yeah. And Shannon, did you, as a, did you buy both of them? Did you buy one at a time?
So Lisa's met me, and I'm not a patient person. So yes, I bought everything because that's what I do. But I did price it out on Amazon, and I would keep some things in my cart or save for later. And I would keep checking to see when they would have sales, or because now they have all these new features that they didn't have even like a year ago, where I could filter by lightning deals or specials. And that was how I got my dehydrator and my projector. I got it in the summer. What did they have? Amazon Days or something?
Yeah, Amazon Prime Day or something.
Yeah. So that was a year and a half ago, and I got it during those times. I just knew that that's what I wanted to get. So I saved my money for that season of when to get it.
And Anna Marie, I would actually just tell you straight out, buy a projector and then buy a fan, like a tabletop fan for $20, and use the fan instead of a dehydrator to hold you over until you've saved enough or you decide you want to pull the trigger on that.
Yeah, I have like a big fan that I'm currently using, like a room fan that I have like propped up on both to be table height.
It works, yeah. I mean, it's kind of a little janky, but it works.
Yeah.
No, I would also go with Lisa. Get the projector first, because last week I did an order and I just did a basic hexagon, and I was able to project the character on and just draw it on, and it was like, it made it look like a very elaborate cookie with minimal work.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at. Like my handwriting is crap, like on paper.
Yeah.
So I'm a cookie. Like I've done, Lisa, your like print off from like your YouTube or the blog, and like they look really pretty when I'm tracing them, but like they're not practical to like try to move on to a cookie. So like
I still use a projector for everything.
Yeah. So
no shame.
So yeah. It's on my wish list.
I was just going to say, I did get a projector because I got it on that Amazon Prime Days. And so do you guys like trace onto your cookie from the projector and then do icing, or, okay, you just do it right on? Okay.
I avoid extra steps if at all possible.
Right.
So some people, I think it just depends. If it's like a crazy, crazy intricate character with a lot of layers, you might actually have to do a little bit of tracing with like an edible marker.
This is just for, writing or, just doing, which is a skill that I'm not good at. And so that's what I'm going to practice on. I said, I'm going to give myself 2 months to practice.
You are dedicated. You're in it.
Yeah.
Good.
And actually, I've watched, of course, lots of YouTubes, but there's a girl here outside of town, and some of you may know of her. It's called The Sugar Shop, and SHOPP, I think it is. And she has got her, I think it's like $10 or something, and it's like a PDF thing, and her writing thing, it's just, and she does everything freehand, And
wow.
but she's so slow that you can really, so
Yeah. There's a lot of people who freehand their writing.
mhm,
I am not one of them. I'm just not good at that. I'm also
yeah.
super not artistic and I can't draw. Hang on, there's somebody in the chat asking, did you say where you get your stickers printed at? So in my resources blog post, I list all my sticker suppliers. I'll send you the link. It's in the ebook. It's actually probably in a couple places in the ebook, but I will also here for ease. And that also has projector, everything, all my suppliers.
Mhm.
So definitely check that out. But right now, my favorite, hands down, sticker people are Sticker You, literally Sticker You. They always have deals for like 16% off, 25% off. That's where I get a lot of like my die cut stickers from. And I get my labels from them too. Sticker Giant is also incredible. And they have really, really nice quality, soft matte texture stickers, which I really like because I like textures. All my stuff is like texture. So yeah. All right. Got 5 minutes. What else? Some of you have been so quiet. Come on, guys.
I'm just trying to think what else I had. I didn't write anything down because of course we're at Costco.
Super casual. I'm probably actually going to do these monthly. We're going to open up registration again in like 2 weeks, allow next kind of group of people to come on in, and then we'll just do this monthly because it's kind of fun and informative.
Yeah, I was going to say, I did have a comment actually in the on the Facebook page.
Yep.
Like, it's just amazing how supportive this community is of each other.
Yep.
I just love it, supporting each other and helping each other. But somebody had said, I think I had asked the question about how long does it take until you get, you kind of know what you're doing. And somebody said in there that 12 rounds of dough.
What?
Yeah, like 12.
That's it.
And
that's a genius right there. Cookie magic person, magical unicorn.
But not, Lisa, but not like, a pro. But I found, so here I am counting how many doughs I've made, right? And I found, honestly, at about, for me, dough 11, I was getting my flooding really where I was so happy with it.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, is it
I think it depends on what skill you're referring to when you say you know what you're doing, because I feel like I don't know what I'm doing still sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. But honestly,
and
consistency sucks. It just sucks. And nobody likes to sit there and for like an hour and a half and mix icing, right? Like nobody. Very few people like to do that. So.
Well, I remember when you also said, you know what, don't screw with it. If it's not working, just
dump it out.
Redo. Yeah.
Just redo
and you
it.
know what? And that's exactly what I've done. I've thought, no, I'm not going to do this. Oh, which brings me to another question quickly.
Yes.
I got my bleeding figured out. It was oversaturated. But I'm finding now that I had a lot of the gel master. Is that what it is?
It's gel colors or master elites?
No, it was a gel color.
Chef master.
Chef master. That's right. And now I've gone to some of the elites. So do you use gel and the master elite, like both?
I use everything.
Okay.
So I use like 3-4 different brands of gel color. It just depends on what I've accumulated throughout the last year and what people send me, because sometimes brands send us stuff. So I just use whatever I have. I am not the only thing that I would say I definitely recommend is the black, red, and red. those are really the only thing that I think the Sugar Art Master Elites are really, really good at that is not equivalent with gel colors, because gel colors taste nasty. That black stuff is disgusting. Whatever.
That's what Corianne said too. She
Yeah.
said you get the white, the red, and the black.
Yeah.
And but
even the
I
white
just,
you don't need. The white, the Chef Master white is really, really, really good. It's one of the best whites I've ever used.
okay.
Chef Master
didn't-
gel white, yeah.
Okay.
But the rose red and the black for the Master Elites, I have big containers of them. They used to sell big containers of them, and I have those, and those are life-changing. But anything else, gel colors are great.
Okay.
Yeah. What else? I think Amy. Hi, Amy. I see your face. You turn your camera on, but you're on mute. She's gonna have to unmute herself.
Yeah, I'm unmuted now.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Yes, I'm really good, thank you. Yeah,
Good.
completely new to the cookie game. I'm just listening in on all the conversation. But no, when you were talking about the projector,
Yeah.
which one do you recommend?
I have it listed. So if you hit that, if you go to the chat and you go to the link that I sent, the ultimate list of cookie resources, and search for the word projector.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect.
And then it'll have everything.
And I just saw the episode of the Holiday Cookie Championship where you were on it. That was just on the other day. I watched it. Your
Feels
cookies
like
are
forever
awesome.
ago.
And I just, going through all the Facebook posts, the community is fantastic and extremely supportive. And
They'll get kicked out if they're not. I'm serious. We are not going to be shy kicking them out if they're rude or something like that.
No, I mean, but I'm really new. I mean, I've taken some classes here and there. I am not anywhere near, where everybody else is at in terms of volume and, really, I've been doing it for fun. I work full time. I'm a senior analyst for a utility here in Illinois, and it was more to just find something to do. I work remote, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got it. I'm home 24/7. I have to do something to channel and like step away from my computer. And I've always wanted to learn how to decorate cookies, so it's been so much fun. I'm just still trying to nail down the right consistencies. I have flood down. I think my challenge has been the puffy icing, more like the really make it the right consistency and detail, because I find that my detail is either too stiff or, and I don't want to cut a bigger hole in the tipless bag because then I'm going to lose that detail. So just trying to work on the consistencies right now.
It's a forever game, I feel like, with consistencies, because it just depends on what design you're working on, how big it is, how small it is. And you today, even like what, 9 years in, 10 years in, I'm still dumping icing out, remixing it after I've already started piping, because I'm like, this is not working for me. So
and I was very, very interested with the freezing, talking about the freezing the cookies, because I have been, my sister-in-law who lives in Texas, she's not a cookie decorator, but she makes cookies all the time, and she keeps telling me, just freeze the dough, freeze it, and then just thaw it, freeze your finished cookies. And I'm kind of nervous about that, because I do wonder about like the texture, or like, and how long can I keep a cookie on the counter, or does it get hard? Will it get really hard?
There's only one way to find out.
I know.
Yeah.
Just leave it out there.
Do it. Actually do
I
it.
will. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Actually, I just found out today that my neighbor across the street is pregnant and having a baby, so I want to go ahead and
got an excuse.
I have an excuse to start, trying to do some baby cookies, and I'm gonna give it a go. We'll see what happens.
Good. Have fun with it. Everybody is at a different point in their journey. We all start somewhere. right?
Mhm.
And there's a gazillion other people in the same place as you. So
Well, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I will tell you that I'm normally not a night owl. I pass out by 8 o'clock at night. I'm asleep, dozing off. But when I'm decorating cookies, it's strange how very calming it is. And you just sit there and you're enjoying just decorating cookies. And before I know it, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, oh,
Yeah.
I gotta go to bed. I've got to get up and work in the morning.
Gotta work,
So,
yeah, for real.
yeah, it's so much fun though.
And I think that's what I think that's the string that connects all of us is we find so much joy and fulfillment in doing all of
Mhm.
this.
Yeah, so much fun. And I've met some really, really nice people along the way so far as well too. So I'm looking forward to, this Facebook group, the Facebook group and meeting a lot of new people. I don't know if anybody, on the call or listening or in like the Chicago area, but that's where I'm at. So
That was an open invitation. So if anyone's listening or anyone who sees on YouTube in the future, hit Amy up.
look me up. I'm here to chat and meet new people.
There you go. I love it.
I just want to say one really quick thing talking about icing consistency.
Yeah.
Lisa, in the video, watching you mix and like really just like moving the icing around so much
Yeah.
has been like the single most helpful thing and like helping me figure out how to get icing consistency. Because like I see, people like, make the little like swirl on top at the end. It's like, that's all fine and dandy, but like was
You don't
not
get
helpful to me. Like seeing you just like messing with it was like, has really, really
adjusting,
helped me
right?
figuring
A little
it out.
bit more powdered sugar, a little bit
Mhm.
more water, because that stuff takes forever. And then you see a BuzzFeed video and they're like done in the icing in 2 seconds. It's like, wait, this is not fair to what we're doing. It's deceptive.
It really is.
Yeah.
So like
Just
sped up
talking
100 times.
Oh, sorry, Anna Marie. I was just going to say, Lisa, one thing. Everybody uses a spatula.
Yeah.
If you used is there something that with a metal spoon could you like? Because I make my icing like 3 icings and then I freeze it. So can you take it out like just with a?
You can do whatever you want. I think.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if.
You can, I think the spatula is really about feeling it. And I think you get a little bit more of like a better feel with the spatula over a metal spoon. And you get to scrape more off. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. I know people who decorate with like Ziploc bags, spoons, butter knives, you don't have to get crazy fancy, but we're all kind of moving towards I want to be fancy with my cookies. All right. Any other last questions before we sign off here and let everybody get back to their holiday season?
I just want to thank you for all that you do. It's just, this whole experience couldn't have been, only being 2 months and having you, I could see how it could have gone so wrong with somebody else. So thank you so much, because it's just all been
You're so
great.
welcome. Best comment ever. Thank you guys. All right, if you need anything else, hit the Facebook page and we'll have another Q&A next month.
Okay.
Happy holidays,
Bye,
friends.
everybody.
Bye.